Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder All Weather here. The weather is about to make a huge turn. Here is the setup going forward. We've got the ridge of high pressure that's going to be starting to build back up over Alaska. And then this blue line here, that is the boundary of these setups that's bringing the instability and the snow into portions of the Northeast this morning. But then there's yet another system that will be trailing behind that one. But we also have a pocket of colder air that's starting to build up in Canada as we get throughout the week, especially into this weekend. That's going to be allowed to plunge southbound. Then we've got this trough that's building out here across in the Pacific Ocean. That's going to be allowed to sneak in into the West Coast and will be impacting with more heavy rain for them as we head into that Sunday into early next week time frame. So I appreciate all my subscribers out there. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and follow along to keep you well ahead of the storm. So here's some snowfall that's taken place across the Northeast. We've been talking about this system for many days now. It's still got a couple hours left of heavier snows that are flying this morning across the Philadelphia region, back into the New York City region. The darker blues there, that's highlighting all the heavier, the higher snow content values that are impacting those areas. But as this continues to move across from west to east, it will last for several more hours. So it's likely by 2 or 3 o'clock, this will be pushing off the East Coast. But then we'll be having another system that's likely going to be trailing behind this one, because if you look at the setup, by the time we head into tomorrow, there's a system that will be pushing offshore. But as the ridge will start to build back over Alaska, we are going to be seeing another wave of energy that's going to be starting to get its act together, coming back behind it. And that should bring some more snow showers across the upper Great Lakes, as well as into portions of the mid-Atlantic, and eventually heading into the Northeast as we head into that Thursday, Friday time frame. So if we take a look at the surface map going into that Thursday morning, you can see where this red line is. That is your freezing line. So anything north of that, the temperatures would be below freezing. So with that setup, we're likely going to be seeing more snow showers across Wisconsin. That'll filter into portions of Michigan. And then back behind this boundary here, we have some more instability that will be coming in from the Pacific Northwest that will be bringing more snow showers for them. But it's this boundary that the setup will be traversing across from west to east. So this is your Thursday afternoon, Thursday night time frame, as this kind of snow line builds across the northern tier. Will bring more snow showers for those areas into Pennsylvania, back into New York, as well as back into portions of Massachusetts, into Connecticut, back into Rhode Island again, into Vermont and New Hampshire. And then there's another piece of energy that will be trailing behind this one, entering portions of Nebraska going into that Thursday night time frame. But there's the cold front, right? We do have some colder air that will be moving through as the ridge will start building back over Alaska. You got the colder anomalies. Looking at the chart at the bottom of the corner of the screen here, easily 20 degrees below average. Obviously, you've seen a big warm up for much of February so far. This will be a change in what you're expecting that you would typically feel like in the month of February, as temperatures are going to be feeling a lot like winter again as we head into that Friday, going into the weekend time frame with this cold front that will be plunging southbound. And as it does, it's going to keep dropping those temperature anomalies and bringing that instability along with it. So overall, on the vorticity map, you can see what's happening, right? So you got this boundary. This is the leading edge of that colder air as we head into that Friday afternoon time frame. Here's the jet stream well to the south. Look how far south it is. So as this drops southbound, it's got some instability, but it's so far south, it's bringing any rain showers that will be highlighted across deep South Texas into Southeast Texas, back into Louisiana and Mississippi, and heading into Florida. And then we'll be watching these storms that'll be building across the west coast here into the Pacific, because we've got a conveyor belt of systems. 1, two, and then likely a third system that will be coming in. So I'm looking at some more heavy rain that will impact the West Coast starting on Sunday, but that looks to last for easily several days into early next week. So we're likely going to be seeing more flood watches take place along the West Coast, especially in California again, as another deluge looks to unfold. But before that happens, we do have some snow showers to contend with up here along the Great Lakes. So as that cold front will continue to plunge southbound, it's got a little bit of more lift associated with it, especially further north along the Great Lakes. So it should be able to ring out some more snow showers for those areas into Wisconsin and the northern Illinois, back into Michigan. That will feed into portions of northern Ohio and then actually get back into those areas into the Northeast again, as that colder air will continue to plunge southbound. So by the time we head into that Saturday afternoon time frame, it actually should reach all the way down into the Gulf Coast. So you're going to feel it. It's going to be pretty windy and blustery during the day on Saturday, as those temperatures will continue to fall. And likely those areas for highs will likely be in the 40s down here in the southern plains, feeling like the 30s, but as you wake up, it'll feel more like the 20s as far as wind chills. So if you look at some of the wind chills, what it actually feels like to the body, you can see where the main Arctic air, the main push of Arctic air actually stays up there in Canada, and they're going to feel it with those 14 to 23 degrees below zero feels like temperatures. But those single digits reach as far south into Nebraska, back into Iowa, back into Illinois. This area has been plenty warm for the month of February. So you're going to definitely feel this cold front as it continues to shift further south into the Oklahoma City region. Around 20 degrees feels like as you wake up on Saturday morning, and those temperatures even into West Texas, 25 degrees, plunging all the way down in the 20s feels like into portions of the Southeast, going into that Saturday morning. But if you're looking at the overall, precipitation, so where the instability and where you could see some rain showers, it's really along further south, because the jet stream is so far south here. Yes, I'm definitely looking at more rain opportunities for the deep South Texas, those areas into Brownsville, those areas into Houston, into Louisiana, and really highlighted across Florida. As much of the country, it will be almost a dry front for a good part of the middle part of the country. You do have some instability that will impact the Northeast. And of course, we're watching that wave of moisture that's going to be starting to impact those areas across the West Coast. So if you're looking at the surface map for your Saturday morning time frame, there's the high pressure, right? You got a 1040 millibar high pressure, so that's some colder air underneath that, and that plunges all the way down into the Gulf Coast. So it's not going to be able to tap into much moisture because there's not much lift back behind on the western flank of this system. So it's going to come in pretty much dry across a good part of the middle part of the country. It's just only those areas across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast are likely going to be seeing more snow showers with this particular cold front, as more snow will be highlighted over the Northeast going into your Saturday morning time frame. So if we move beyond that and continue during the day on Saturday, and as we head into Sunday morning, you can see pretty much clear skies as it clears the atmosphere out. That typically what happens with some colder air masses, as that 1030 high pressure sinks right over Texas there, and then all eyes will be trending out west as you start to, kind of bottom out across these regions. So this will be a quick cold front. It's going to be coming in this weekend, and it looks to last really all day Saturday and really all day Sunday. So by the time you head into Sunday morning, these are actual temperatures. Like I said, you've already seen plenty of cold air. You've seen much colder air so far this winter, but this is definitely saying, hey, we're still in the month of February. It can still get cold, and that's exactly what's going to happen going into that Sunday morning time frame, as all these areas in blue are going to be highlighted with that freezing conditions going all the way down into the southeast and reaching the coast into the Carolinas. But then all eyes will be trending out west into the Pacific. So because we look at the overall jet stream, this is the conveyor belt of moisture. We've seen this before, right? With these relentless atmospheric river events. It's just a deep area tropical moisture that's going to be coming in off the Pacific. And with these areas of low pressure setting up one after another, that should set the stage again as the Pacific jet, and we're still under an El Nino, would impact those areas across the West Coast. And it's not just a one-day wonder. It looks to last for several days beyond that, because we've got a pretty significant area of low pressure will really get its act together and more or less kind of slow down, if not stall, off the West Coast again, wrapping around counterclockwise, pumping in all that moisture into the West Coast. So we're likely going to be seeing widespread flash flood watches in place. And that's exactly what the Climate Prediction Center is kind of highlighting. You know, by the time we get into that 20th time frame, this will be a week from now. I think it starts on Sunday, but really amplifying as that system really comes on shore across the West Coast. So we're looking at even slight, even moderate risk for excessive rainfall all into California and back into Arizona. You've seen this action just about a week ago with those two areas of atmospheric rivers that left a lot of high winds and a lot of extensive flooding. So we're looking at more issues on the table for California as we go into early next week, with several days of very heavy rainfall impacting those areas across the West as well as into portions of the Southwest. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update where I protect you before and after the storm.